Hi, all of my relevant people. Welcome back to my channel. Excuse the noise, y'all. Anywho, if y'all are new to my channel, my name is crncoleman. And for all of you older subscribers, please usher in the newer subscribers, you all. So, y'all see the title. We gonna talk about it. Y'all ready? Let's go. So, in today's video, we are talking about fibroids. Something that a lot of women suffer from, something like myself, I have suffered from it for a couple of years. And apparently more Black women suffer from fibroids than any other race for some reason. I kind of feel like we should have a little bit more research on where, this is all really stemming from, but apparently we don't really know. No one has really pinpoint, where fibroids come from. So I'm going to read from my little handy dandy tablet because I don't want to just give y'all any information on what a fibroid is. I want to give y'all the scientific or the science term for it, y'all. Okay. So a fibroid, fibroids are common non-cancerous growths that develop in the uterus. They are typically made up of muscle and fibrous tissue. Now, fibroids can grow in the muscle, the wall of the uterus. They can grow on the outer surface of the uterus. They can grow inside the cavity of the uterus. And they can hang from the uterus on a stalk. Now, my fibroids were on the outside of my uterus. And I guess I just was really shocked that I found out that I had fibroids. I really didn't know what fibroids were until I just started having this pain on the left side of my pelvis. So I found out in January of 2022, and it was snowing really, really bad, like here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I just was having this shooting pain on the left side of my on the left side of my pelvis. And I was like, what is this pain? And it wouldn't go away. I had taken Tylenol, even ibuprofen, and it would not go away. Made an appointment to go to urgent care. Of course, it got canceled because of all the snow that we had. And so eventually got into an appointment later on that week, and they sent me to get an ultrasound done, come to find out I had fibroids. And at that time in January, I only had one, right? Just one fibroid, and it was sitting on top of my uterus. And immediately the first OBGYN, she tells me that it might not be your fibroid, it's probably your Mirena, which is a IUD. It wasn't placed on your cervix properly. We can take it out and then, put it back in just to do process of elimination. Okay, fine. Let's do that. So we do that. And she also had to pull my cervix down because my cervix is bent backwards. I don't know the scientific term for that. Don't come from my head. I have a biology degree. Don't tell nobody. But anywho, but she pulls my cervix down. We do that. And then I go into her office, and then we start talking about fibroids. And she tells me that, more can grow. You're going to get more, being negative Nancy, right? And immediately she wanted to go ahead and have surgery just to get rid of that one. And I'm just like, I'm just now finding out about these fibroids, and you already want to do surgery on me? Like, lady, that's it? Just surgery for one? And my fibroid in 2022 at that time was the size, she said, of a small apple. It was 5 centimeters. It wasn't huge, right? It wasn't causing me any problems. So anywho, I told her I'll think about it. So a month goes by, I'm still having this shooting pain, and I make an appointment. I said, you know what? Let's take out the IUD. There's no need for it. We're not sexually active over here anymore. Let's keep it real here now. Cause listen, I'm grown. I'm 36. I'll be 37 this year. So if y'all not into this conversation, honey, please exit out the church doors. Okay. Just going out the church doors. Don't put your finger up, just leave. Okay. But we took that out, and I just was like, let me do process of elimination for myself. So we take that out. Now, and she still talks to me about fibroids and still wanting to do surgery. And for those of y'all that people that personally know me, they know what I do. I work in healthcare. I know about insurance, and I know how those claims work. And I know that you was trying to get a little money out from me. You weren't gonna get no money out from me off of one small fibroid. Okay, that wasn't gonna happen. Okay, moving on. So, process of elimination, we take out the IUD. No more pain. I'm fine. A couple of years roll by, 2 years roll by, and I'm doing fine. My stomach did at one point started getting a little big. And I'm like, okay, I'm putting on some weight, putting on some pounds. Like, what's going on? I know the older you get, you know, you put on some extra weight. It happens, you know. I'm not an athlete anymore. I'm not playing tennis every day. I'm not running every day. I am going to the gym, but it's not as, as demanding. But, you know, and it got to the point where my stomach started getting that. It looked like a bump, like a baby bump. And my mom even asked me if I was pregnant. I was like, no, I don't think I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant, you know. I'm not pregnant. Again, we grown. And so fast track from January of 2022 to August of 2022. And I'm going back here. So from January to 2022 to August 2022, I went and found another OBGYN, older Black man. I'm like, oh, okay, I done met my people, you know. He gonna help me out. Now, from January of 2022 to August of 2022, I went from 1 to 3. And he tells me that the biggest one was the size of a baby's head. And I'm just like, what is going on in my body that progressed this one fibroid to 3, and the biggest one is the size of a baby's head? Like, how is that even happening? So he immediately says that we're going to have to do a partial hysterectomy. Now, my fibroids are still on the outside of my uterus. All 3 are on the outside. There were none on the inside, on the outside. He says we're going to do a hysterectomy. Sir, I was 33 years old. I still want to have kids. I still want to have kids now at the age of 36. But a hysterectomy, you're supposed to be my people, you know? Why are you trying to take my uterus? Disclaimer, ladies, don't let them take your uterus. They don't have to take your uterus. There are other options, and we're going to talk about it. There's other things you can do. Find you somebody that works. You do your research, advocate for yourself. But he wanted to take my uterus. So, and I told him, I said, no, I want to have kids. So he gives me this medication. I can't think of the name of it. If I can find the name of it, I'll, put it in the video. He didn't know much about this medication. He was like, it's the new kid on the block. Again, I work in healthcare. I also had a job where I worked in healthcare dealing with the, prescription. So I understand you making money off of giving this to me. Okay. You're making money off of this. Sir, I'm not about to take something I don't know nothing about. So fast forward. Okay. So we're fast forwarding. And my first thought was, I just was like, I should have went to my PCP and had a conversation with him about this. That was my first mistake. My first mistake was not immediately going to my PCP after finding out that I had fibroids in January of 2022. I did not do that. And so did that. And I want to say a year after that, 2023, it's when I went to my PCP about the fibroids, and he sent me to another OBGYN, and he had a conversation with it now. And I love this OBGYN, and he was very knowledgeable. He sat down and he just talked to me. He looked at the images from the previous OBGYN, and he said, these images are great. your fibroids aren't in the way to where you would get pregnant. Now, his only concern was if he got rid of the fibroids, I guess his thing was, I guess there would be a hole, I guess in the uterus, how he was describing it. And I guess he didn't want to do that. But he just was like, if you're not having any issues, there's no need for any surgery. And at that time, I was not having any issues. Just, I know if my stomach was getting a little big, but there wasn't any major issues going on. Okay. And loved him. I just was like, okay, if I need surgery, we're going to go to him. When I get ready to have a baby, he's going to be my doctor. You know, we're going to do that. Okay. So fast forward. Okay, y'all, 2024 comes last year. And I started noticing that my left calf would get like this tired feeling. Okay. And I'm just like, did I do something in the gym? Like, what happened? You know, did I get a cramp or something? Like, what's going on? So, and it got to the point where when I would walk on the treadmill on an incline, it would get really tired really fast. And I would have to either decline, or either just slow down. So I told my PCP about it. My PCP was like, let's make sure that it's not a blood clot. So we did an ultrasound, came back clean, no blood clot on my calf. Then he's still trying to figure out what's going on. So he just was like, let's do an MRI on your lower spine. Did that, came back clean. My mom, I got a praying mama. Mama said she'd had a conversation with God. God said fibroids. And I got to thinking, I said, from 2022 to 2024, I was, fine. And we hadn't checked those in a while. And I told my PCP, I was like, you know what, Dr. Crown, we have not checked the fibroids in a while. We might need to go check those. Check those fibroids. Huge. Okay. Fibroids done got big on your girl. And that's why her stomach was sticking out, looking like she was ready to give birth. Okay. Even though it had gone down a little bit, I can tell I was going down some, but I still had that pregnancy stomach. It was round. Okay. And I am going to insert pictures, of my stomach. I want to insert pictures of the fibroids. We gonna see. We gonna see. So anyways, went and had an ultrasound done. Fibroids had gotten big. I told my PCP about the third OBGYN, but he wasn't affiliated with, I guess, the particular hospital anymore. So went to fourth OBGYN. Great. Gave me great information. Found out that still had a total of 3 fibroids. The biggest fibroid was 19.2 centimeters big. She said that my uterus was the size of someone that was 37 weeks pregnant. "37 weeks pregnant." And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out, how did my uterus get that big? And this is the fibroid the big fibroid is sitting on top of my uterus. I have a fibroid on the back side of my uterus and have one on the left side of my uterus. And so we talk about the different options that we have. Of course, by that time I've gone to her. I did try to cut back on certain things. I love sugar and bread. Bread is just sugar. I've tried the holistic way. I got into juicing in 2023. It's just a lot of different things that I tried to do. I had an aunt that gave me some pills. I wasn't consistent with those, but made some juices that were for fibroids, but my fibroids they were just too big to, I guess, for me to keep going, trying to do the holistic route, which I know some people do that, and that's fine. Like, that's fine with to each his own. for you all to do that. So anyway, she tells me, you know, you have, I think it's called laparoscopic, and that's when they do the little holes in your stomach. But of course, mine were too big to do that. And she said, we can do a abdominal myomectomy. And that's when she would have to make an incision on my stomach. And so she laid me back and she measured my stomach, and she said that she was going to have to cut me up and down. Now, I'm like, those that know me personally that are watching my video, I had surgery when I was a kid, and I have what is called a double ureter. It looks like a little noodle, and it connects your kidney and your bladder. And you're only supposed to have one on each side. I have two on the left side. I already have a scar over here. She's like, she saw my scar and she just was like, well, you know, it's really not keloid. It's keloid to me, okay? So I didn't want to have another scar going up and down my stomach. And excuse the noise, y'all. And I just did not want to have another one going up and down my stomach. And I just was like, oh my gosh. And so she started telling me, well, if it does keloid up, then we can, you know, connect you with the dermatologist. My PCP said the same thing as well when I gave him all this information. And I just was like, okay. And I'm not gonna lie, I still was trying to see what else that I could do before this surgery. Now, this was in December of 2024, but my fibroids were so big to where that they were pressing up against my sciatic nerve. My fibroids, they weren't giving me, I did not have heavy periods. Maybe a tinge of pelvic pain. It didn't dawn on me that's what it was doing. What else? I think that was the main thing. A lot of women were like, did you have heavy periods? I'm like, no, my periods were regular. And so, what am I trying to say? And so I was bloated. When I would come on my period, I would get really bloated, like extremely bloated. Like it looked more pregnant than what I already looked like. And they were bothering my legs. My legs will. So as I was saying, you all, so my fibroids were messing with my sciatica, and my legs would tingle. And I would get like a burning sensation, and I would actually get them in both. And that's what really, really prompted me to see what's going on. And again, it was my fibroids. So not all women are dealing with, let me see, this says when it comes to fibroids, give me one moment. Fibroids, what are fibroids? So it's for women that deal with fibroids, it says pelvic pain and cramping. Oh, I had frequent urination. That was the other one. It's like I felt like I never was emptying my bladder for some reason. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? Hold on. Okay, y'all, we cutting again. So as I was saying, I had frequent urination, and it felt like I was never emptying my bladder. Constipation is another symptom women deal with when it comes to fibroids. Pain during intercourse and infertility. I haven't experienced infertility or pain during any intercourse or constipation. Only time I was constipated is if I was not drinking enough water, and I'm still working on drinking that water now. So moving forward, December, we have this conversation about having a abdominal myomectomy. I'm still like, I don't want to get cut up and down. And my surgery was in March of this year. We are now in 2025. So I had surgery in March. And before we had surgery, my surgery was supposed to be at like 12:30. My mom says that she didn't get a text message. It was like 4 something when surgery started. But a week before my surgery, I just was like, I still don't want to get cut up and down. Like, I know, like, I just like, I wonder if, you know, my fibroids have, you know, shrunk, uterus have shrunk, because the images that she was reading, they were from October when I saw her in December of 2024. And I'm just like, October to 2024 to March, like a lot can change, right? Right? And so I just was like, can we do an ultrasound? And at that time, she didn't do her own ultrasound. She just was, you know, reading the images from the previous hospital that did my ultrasound for my fibroids. So advocated to get to have them do their own images, which they did. Got a text message or a message from the women's clinic maybe a day later saying that, hey, the biggest fibroid is still 19.2 centimeters big. The doctor is still going to have to cut you up and down. They've talked to other, OBGYNs about this, and that's the best approach. And I just said, okay, fine. If I don't like the scar, then we're just going to put a tattoo over it, because she said she was going to have to go around my belly button. I just was like, no, So anywho, day of surgery comes. We're waiting. Like, I took a nap out in the waiting room. Was told to hold my pee because they may have to take a urine sample. I was like, and I'm still having this feeling of I can't, every time I pee, I'm still not fully emptying my bladder. So I'm just like, y'all gotta pee. And so I pee, they call me back, I get undressed, and I see both my parents. My mom ends up staying back there with me until they roll me back. We're still waiting. I done took another nap, y'all. And other people have come into the room, like prepping me, taking my blood, giving me medication, and all of this stuff. We're still waiting. Now, the doctor comes down and she's like, finally, they're releasing her to do surgery. And she comes down with 2 pieces of paper. And that's when she tells me that she's had a conversation with, I guess, the best of the best, just the way to put it, when it comes to the images that her clinic, where she works, where they had taken those ultrasound images, and how they were a lot clearer, they were a lot better. And so she starts explaining to me that I can do a flank and steel incision, which is a C-section incision, and it's literally like right below my belly button. And right above the pelvic area, I guess you can say. I always say where the hair is, where your hoo-ha is, okay? It's above that. And so I guess your lower abs. Excuse me. But then her thing is, if she does the flank and steel incision and she notices that my fibroids are attached to what is called omentum, which is like the fatty tissue that lines your intestines. And if it's all the way up there, then she probably may have to cut me up and down. And nobody wants to have basically a upside down T, no one. And I understand that. And so I looked at my mom, she's looking at me. And the doctor's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, you're the doctor. You're the doctor. Whatever you think is best. Because if you know that if you have a 1% doubt that you are not going to be able to get that big fibroid, my fibroid is literally up here, like under my boob. That's where the big one is. And if you know that you aren't able to get that big fibroid, you just giving me the flank and steel incision, aka C-section cut, just cut me up and down, and I'll just deal with it. I've had this other scar for so long, I'll just deal with it. So finally she's like, okay, well, that's the plan. We'll do the flank and steel incision, aka C-section cut. My mom says surgery took a long time. She said 4 hours. But come out of surgery from having the abdominal myomectomy, and my mom says that the OBGYN says that she told her, I guess she did it or I got it, but she was able to cut me the C-section way, you guys. So with that being said, advocate for yourself, you guys. Just advocate. If you feel like you're not happy with what this OBGYN or your PCP is saying, it's your body. Go get more opinions. It's your money. Go get more opinions. If you want to try it the holistic way, do it the holistic way. If you want to get surgery, do what's best for you, but still advocate for yourself You know, even though they may, in the words of my auntie, they may have done this procedure a million times, but it's a new procedure to your body. And again, advocate. My recovery time was supposed to be for 4 to 6 weeks. And as of today, I am Tuesday will be 9 weeks post-op, and I am still tender, and I still have some numbing on the right side of my uterus. A cousin of mine who's a nurse explained to me that that particular side is probably still feeling like that because they probably pulled and tugged more on that side. This week, I plan on, hopefully I have this video up by this week, but this week I plan on going to the gym and just start off walking. And I'm noticing that I really can't suck. I'm trying to do now. That I'm trying to suck my stomach in. I really can't do it. So I found some exercises on Pinterest that I am thinking about doing just to kind of help with, I guess, the pelvis and the core. Just, I guess, some breathing exercises to kind of just work on getting those muscles to contract again, if I'm saying all that right, you guys. And but that's just where I am. I am still being bothered with my calf a little bit, not as much, because now that those fibroids are gone, I'm able to, I guess, I'm trying to word this. I should be able to start feeling my adjustments going to the chiropractor, because my chiropractor knew about everything, and she did the best that she could do with adjusting my lower half and just having the fibroid issues going on. And so I told my PCP about it when I saw him this month, and he said next month, let's see how things go. And I guess if I'm still being bothered really badly with the sciatica, then I guess we'll see how bad the sciatica may be. If it's damaged really bad, or maybe it's just healing. Dr. Google told me that when it starts to centralize and it starts to come back towards the pelvic / the hip area, it's getting better. So I'm noticing now if I do too much walking, or if I'm going up a hill too much, then my calf gets tired. I haven't noticed too much tingling, not too much. And I haven't noticed too much burning. I will say the biggest thing with recovering is my stomach has gone down. Those 3 fibroids literally were sucking the life out of me. Like, I have pictures. I would like to post them in this video. I'm going to have to read up on the rules on YouTube about posting these type of videos or those pictures in this video. But my big fibroid and the middle fibroid together weighed a total of 8 pounds. You guys, I literally got rid of a whole baby, like a baby. Like what I mean, my stomach was out to here, Some people probably just thought I was fat. I thought it was more fat than fibroid, but come to find out, it was actually more fibroid than fat. It does feel good to feel more comfortable in my clothes. I still feel swollen around the lower part, even though I'm almost 9 weeks post-op. And I have some jeans that they fit great, and I have some that still, when I button them up, I still feel really snug, but around the lower part. And I'm not going to get rid of those because I know that I'm still on a weight loss journey to kind of, get the rest of these pounds off. But I will say, not having those fibroids, those 8 pounds, man, the day before surgery, you guys, I know I'm all over the place right now. The day before surgery, I was 192.9 or something like that. And a week after surgery, I went all the way down to 181. I kind of went up a little bit. I'm at 184 right now. 184. I did notice that now that the fibroids are gone, I gotta bring this up too. because I tried to do some little notes or whatever to try to stay on track. But anyways, I thought that first period or that first bleeding that I had, it was, that was my period, right? Because I'm just like, well, hold on, let me put this up, y'all. I just was like, well, okay, you know, my period isn't off. I'm fine. No, that was just some bleeding just because I just had surgery. I had a first real period last month, and oh my God, the cramps were cramping. I felt like that was the first time I had a period in the out of my 36 years. Oh my God, it was horrible. I had to go to the store, and I got these little heating pads to just have some heat on me, but it was just horrible. Now, this period for this month, I cramped really bad one time. And I had to get some, you know, little heating pads again. So I am hoping that the next month in June, that all of that subsides. And I'm hoping that the cramping is not as bad. But I did read on Dr. Google that the first 2 periods after having a abdominal myomectomy, that, you know, it's going to be a little painful. So, but I will say that I'm still bleeding my regular 5 days. I did kind of spot maybe the first 2 days, but I don't count my period unless it's a consistent bleeding. And so that's just me. So, am I missing anything else? So with that's fine. Again, this week I'm gonna try to do some walking. I don't plan on lifting anything heavy. The heaviest that I've lifted is maybe like a jug of juice. I haven't, and when I say heavy, like a kiss of water, I haven't lifted that yet. A lot of women have told me to take my time that have had fibroids. I know some doctors, you know, say, oh, you can continue with your regular activity after the 6-week mark. Not me. Listen, I ain't no spring chicken. I'm not old. You know, 36 is not old, but I'm not young, and I still want to have kids, and I don't want to mess up what's going on the inside for what's going to be growing on the inside in the future, which is an actual baby. So I'm just taking my time. So for those of y'all that are considering surgery, like, take your time, rest. If there's someone there to help you with everything, let them help you, you guys. Another thing that I am doing now that the little tapes are off is I have these silicone strips that I'm wearing. The brand that I'm wearing is by the brand Frida. You can get it at Target. I think you can get them at CVS or Walgreens. I bought them off of Amazon, and I just wear those to kind of help to make sure that that scar does not keloid up, that it heals right, and it has been healing. Like, I don't have no keloid. Now I can feel the cartilage a little bit, you know, when I press upon it a little bit, but it's not as hard as it used to be. The silicone strip kind of helps to make sure there's no indentation, and most importantly, to help with anything rubbing up against it, and to keep it hydrated as well. I wear them for 7 days, and then 7 days I throw them away. I know some people, you can wash them and reuse them, but I'm a little OCD. And so I just was like, once I'm done with one, I'm just gonna put a new one on, and I am just going to just eat that cost and order some more, which I did. There was a total of 6 in there, and so I actually have already ordered some more, which they're on the way from Amazon. But I'm gonna keep wearing them until I feel comfortable, or I guess I feel like it looks like I don't need to wear them anymore. I think as long as my stomach still feels tender and a little numb. Y'all excuse the noise. Where I live, the street is literally like right outside my window, and I hear everything. But anyways, I'm gonna just keep wearing them until I feel comfortable, and I'll finally take them off. Am I missing anything in this video? Because I know I have gave y'all a lot of information. Oh, this noise, y'all. Every time I just put something up, it's just noise. I think I have given y'all everything. But I think, again, the most important thing that I just want anyone to take away from this video is that if you're, whatever you're dealing with, it doesn't even have to be fibroids, but when it comes to your health, if you don't feel confident in that particular doctor and what they're telling you, it's okay to get other opinions. Get a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I mean, this was the fourth OBGYN that I've gone to, and I will say that she likes to shout out to Dr. Kristen Daniel here in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Women's Clinic. She did her thing. And when I had some babies, she gonna deliver my babies. I've already had that conversation with her, but she said that she likes to do fibroids. She likes puzzles, and a lot of OBGYNs don't like to do that operation. So I appreciate her, one, still listening to not only just me, but I guess other physicians as well, when they looked at those new images about how she should cut me. But I appreciate that. And one more thing, when it comes to the surgery part, after your surgery, they're going to take your fibroids, they're going to send them to a pathologist to make sure that they are benign and that they are not cancerous. And mine came back benign. Even the omendum, aka the fatty lining of your intestines, that came back fine. So just a little FYI with that, you guys. But all in all, I feel fine. I'm still taking it easy because I haven't worked out since March, and it's May. It's the end of May is next week. And so I'm just slowly but surely getting back into things. And I still have to tell myself, not to, lean on, the right side so much. When I drive, I have a pillow that covers my stomach, and my seatbelt can go through that. I got that off of Amazon. I will get the link for that as well. And I will link those Frida silicone strips as well. And, but I just use that. And even at one point, my butt was bothering me. And while I was at home with my parents recovering, I bought this little pillow that has like a little hole in it. And that kind of just helped to alleviate some pressure on my, I guess you could say, my sciatic, or my sacrum, my coccyx, my tailbone. What else? I think that's about it that I've just really noticed. But if any of y'all have any questions about, my surgery, or if any of you all have had surgery and other people are curious about it, put y'all's experience in the comments section. If y'all have done the holistic route and there's other things that y'all have tried and they've worked for you all, put them in the comment section. Because again, I'm not opposed to going the holistic route. I think that maybe if I had done it a lot sooner, but I really wish that someone would figure out where these fibroids are coming from. From what I've researched, they like estrogen and progestin. And one thing I feel like they don't tell you all is birth control has estrogen and progesterone in it. So it's like it's just pumping your body with it, and your body is feeding off of it. So I'm just saying. And I honestly will say this, before I got that IUD, I was never bothered with any fibroids. I'm just saying. It's just me. So I don't know. But did I leave anything else out? I'm just trying to make sure I didn't leave anything else. Recovery, Okay. I think I have said everything that I needed to say. I think if I forgot anything, I'll put it in the comment section. But if any of y'all have, you know, stuck around this long to hear me ramble, I appreciate y'all. But and I hope y'all enjoyed this informative and my experience with fibroids. And I hope that me sharing this will give any woman any hope, you know, to keep going and to keep researching and to keep talking to different people, different doctors on what's best for you and your body when it comes to dealing with your fibroids. And lastly, you don't have to let them take your uterus. Don't let them take your uterus unless you want them to take your uterus, but you don't have to let them take it. They don't have to take it. You can keep all your parts. Okay? No, thank you. Ask questions. So, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video, whether y'all are watching this in the morning, day, night, whatever. But in the words of the pastor, in closing, thank y'all for sticking around this long and watching me ramble, and I'm rambling again. But thank you all. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, share with your neighbor. Say, neighbor, yes. Share this video, you guys. And I will see y'all next time. Next video should be a juicing video. It's been a minute. But all right, in closing again, because I'm closing. Okay, bye y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.